Hello guys, welcome back to Andy Shaw's YouTube channel. This is episode number 2. Technically episode number 3, but we are doing this part ways, so it is episode number 2. Here we go. Let's go. How was Patel as a schoolboy? That is the question today. How was Patel as a schoolboy? Patel possessed an ingenious mind as a schoolboy, far from the ordinary. Even when he had no particular academic distinction to his credit, some of his eventful school life happenings just cast shadows of the man he was ultimately going to be. He was a rebel whose whose extraordinarily great organizing abilities were recognized by schoolmates and teachers. Patel's early schooling took place in the typically rural settings of Karamsad, where he grew, in his own words, in the open spaces of the village, free from the restrictions and limitations of town life, on terms of complete equality with with his fellow children, having his share of black eye like any others, rolling on dusty streets and being pushed into the village pond with the same vigorous and unexpected rap on the knuckles as any other child. Reminiscing about his early life once, Patel said, "It was in this atmosphere of equal give and take that I grew up with all the zest for life, and that only a village child can have only a village child can have and all that sturdiness and determination which grow out of a healthy atmosphere and daredevilry and juvenile buoyancy of impish pranks, mirth and laughter." Patel completed 7 standards of Gujarati from the government school at Karamsad. He was by then 17 or so. A lower standard teacher, a rear shirker, was in the habit of dismissing questions asked by boys with the petulant remark, "Why do you ask me? Learn for yourself." For Patel, this was a lesson in self reliance then, and during later life, he was practically self taught. But he learned a great deal from his father, who used to take him to the fields every morning and teach him tables and simple psalms. This apart, such company gave Patel deep knowledge of the purse of the people, the fields, and the villages in the neighborhood, and the experience thus gained stood by him some 28 years later in the Kheda Satyagraha launched by Gandhiji. Patel had no inclination to stay in his village. Though less vocal by temperature, his ambitions were as high as Vittal Bhai's, was already studying English at Nadiad and was staying with his maternal aunt. Zaveer Bhai could not send Patel there, as he did not want to burden his brother-in-law with the responsibility of his second son as well. A private English school up to the 3rd standard opened at Karamsad, which Patel joined, though for only a year. Thereafter he was sent to Petlad, where the local school had English up to the 5th standard. By imbibing the environment of Karamsad in the company of his father, Patel became a true son of the soil. More rural than urban in outlook, at Petlad, away from his sheltered family life in Karamsad, he had a different experience, the rich experience of community living necessitated by the family's frugal circumstances. He collected half a dozen students who jointly rented a house. Each boy, when he went home on a Sunday, brought back with him enough food grains to last a week, and during the week, each member of the small community cooked meals by turns. Patel was the organizer and the leader. Patel was keen to pursue his study of English. The desire seemed to be keeping in the with the prevailing spirit of the times. Socially, the language was already becoming a status of symbol. A symbol, yeah. But more importantly, it had opened the gates to higher employment in services for Indians, or a more respectable and lucrative position in one of the newly thrown open professions, particularly the legal one. Zavir Bhai had no recourse this time but to send Patel to Nadiad and allow him to stay with his maternal uncle. Here, the world grew still bigger for Patel, and he had better opportunities for, for sharpening his talents. As a rebel student leader, he once admitted, I yielded to none of the captaincy of mischief or of sly attempts to hoodwink one's elders. In the very first year at Nadiad, in his sixth standard, he organized a strike in the school which lasted for 3 days. It was over a fellow student whom a haughty, high-handed teacher taking pride in canning boys had turned out of class for failing to bring from his parents the fine money imposed on him the previous day. Even though he himself was a boy, Patel could not stomach such injustice. At his call, the class staged a walkout. To make matters worse, he persuaded the entire school to go on strike. He even organized picketing. He conducted his operations from the headquarters he had set up in the Travelers Rest House in Nadiad, which he had taken possession of and where the strikers rested by turns. On the third day of the agitation, the headmaster thought it prudent to reach an honourable settlement with Patel on the assurance that no excessive and unjust punishment would be meted out in the future. Patel was then hardly 18. Immediately thereafter, he taught a lesson to another teacher who was running the private business of selling papers, pencils, and exercise books, and openly forced the boys to buy them from him. This time, Patel organized an effective boycott of him. The teacher was so shaken with fear that he gave up his sidelines. Patel had no patience with an indifferent teacher, nor did he spare a lazy one. He and his classmates used to make fun of a teacher who had the habit of coming late to the class. He punished Patel with the task of writing 1 to 10. Not complying with this, the teacher went on to increase this double fold for every day that went, until it became Patel's task to write out the sums 200 times. Patel explained later, I wrote on the slate just the figure 200 and I took up to the teacher with an innocent air. The teacher asked me where the padas were. I told them I could write only 200 when the padas ran away. The teacher was all sound and fury. I was presented before the headmaster, who instead of punishing me took the teacher to task for not knowing the correct method of prescribing tasks. Such successful adventures established Patel's leadership in schools. No less was his reputation built as an agitator. He grew bolder to accept a bigger challenge in the civic life of Nadiad. One of his teachers was standing for municipal elections. His opponent, a wealthy, influential person, was too confident of his success. Unwisely, he declared in a moment of uncalled for pride that if he were defeated, he would have his moustache shaved. A moustache was in those days a symbol of masculine pride, class consciousness, and a status ego, but shaving it off meant disgrace. The fighting instigated in Patel The fighting instinct in Patel stirred him into action. He accepted the challenge on behalf of his poor, humble teacher. He worked with such resolute and steadfastness that his teacher scored a resounding victory over his opponent. His impatience did not let him rest at that. He led a procession of some 50 boys to the house of the defeated candidate, taking with him a barber to round off the affair. Patel thus became the unquestionable leader of the small student community of Nadiad. He enjoyed the confidence and backing of almost all the boys in his school, including the seniors. To keep them as a well knit body, he started a club where at night the student assembly not merely to pursue their studies but also to sort out their common problems and seek remedies. Patel's influence at that young age was acknowledged by even some of the teachers, some of whom sought his help to seek redress of their grievances against the headmaster. From Nadiad, Patel moved to Baroda to join a school there, but his stay did not last longer than a month. During this short period, he gave ample evidence of his irrepressible rebellious nature. Since he preferred to opt for Gujarati in place of Sanskrit, much against the wishes of his class teacher, the latter tauntingly called him Mahapurush. Once, when Patel could not bear it, he sarcastically asked him, if all of us studied Sanskrit, who would you teach Gujarati to? But he had a more serious clash with the teacher of mathematics in the government high school at Baroda. One day, the teacher found himself confused trying to do an algebra problem. Patel had the audacity to stand up and say, "Sir, you don't know how to work it out." In sheer irritation, the teacher threw him a challenge. "If I don't know how to do it, come here and be a teacher yourself." Undaunted, Patel went to the board and not only solved the problem but impudently occupied the teacher's chair. The headmaster sent for Patel and warned him to behave himself, to which he retorted, "I don't wish to study in a school where there are teachers of such type." Patel passed the matriculation examination from Nadiad High School in 1897 at the age of 22. Reminiscing later in the Yerwada jail in 1932, Patel humorously narrated to Gandhi and Mahadev Desai what his maternal uncle thought of his fortune. "My uncle was an overseer in the municipality. He thought I wouldn't pursue my studies and therefore he would find me a job. He told me, come to the municipality, I will get you a mukaddam's job and you will start earning immediately." Many Indians of the class and status were entering life like that in those days. Patel might have followed their example. Once a mate, he might have remained a mate, having had no engineering qualifications. But fate seemed to have destined him to be different. One who was to shape India's destiny as much as his own. In spite of his failure in matriculation the previous year, Patel was a bright boy, gifted with an ingenious mind, bent more towards agitational activities than studies. Towards teachers who were just and honest, he always had kindly thoughts and showed them the highest regard. He almost revered them. Years later, in 1938, when he was the Congress party boss and the chairman of the Congress Parliamentary Board, Patel happened to be on a visit to Baroda. Somebody told him that his English teacher in Baroda High School, Manchester Wadia, wished to come and pay respect to him. Jokingly, he asked, Is Mr. Wadia still alive? He hurriedly got up and left for Wadia's house. Meanwhile, Wadia too had left his place to meet Patel. Both met somewhere middle. Both met somewhere halfway. According to a witness, the Sardar bent down to touch his old teacher's feet. Mr. Wadia, filled with great emotions, lifted him up and embraced him, tears of boundless joy rolling down his cheeks. Well, Patel was a great person. He was a legend. He shaped India in the way nobody else has. So I'll say, if Patel does something to a teacher, like you should learn from great people. Like great people know how to respect elders, respect teachers. Like you need to understand that teachers are very important. Teachers help you in making your life, in your career. Like might not be teachers. Like a teacher not necessarily has to be a teacher. A teacher can be a friend, can be your guru, can be your guide, can be your senior, can be your junior. Everybody can be a teacher. Like Arjun and Duryodhan both had the same teacher. Arjun respected him more. Arjun became more greater than Duryodhan. Yeah. Like for example, Swami Vivekanand, Paramhans, Ramakrishna Paramhans. Like it happens. Like you get teachers, make the most of them. Thank you very much. Signing out until we meet next time on our next episode on Sardar Patel. Thank you very much for listening into me.